Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be somewhat relaxing and I hope you can actually bloody hear me over the very loud engine of this vintage bus because I am taking this all the way to the Sydney Bus Museum. Yes, it's loud, yes, it's a bit cranky, but it is a very cool experience otherwise. This is one of those vintage free buses you get to the museum, and in the last video I actually didn't get to ride it to there because I was an idiot. This time, timed it perfectly, so here we are. I'm going to switch you to hyperlapse as soon as possible, but a few things out of the way first. My hair is, well, pretty messy today and I'm a bit crunchy because it is very hot. It's 36 degrees and I am not into the idea of making up and everything just for it to fall apart by midday. Anyways, I'm going to switch you over to hyperlapse after... yeah, I think it's about time because it's going to get really loud with all the shaking and everything, and hopefully I don't tear up. Anyways, I'm going to switch you over to hyperlapse right now and let's start the video. After a decently quick bus ride, here we are at the bus museum. I'll go in shortly and get my ticket, but just very quickly, this time I actually do have preparation on hand and understand what is in the place, including color coordination and poses and whatever you can think of. So I am planning to use today's video as some sort of color guide to what you should do. Keep in mind, this is not exactly a 100% guide to what you should be doing and what you should not be doing, and you should always be trying different things, different colors to make it look a little bit different, but I will try my best to explain to you what the hell I'm actually doing. Anyways, let's go in and I'll put you back on hyperlapse. I have luckily found my first spot of the day, and hopefully the Action 5 is actually performing all right because it is actually really dark in here. So hopefully it's not too noisy, and speaking of that, it's very stuffy in here because the warehouse barely has any AC and all these buses, these windows are, well, closed. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of sauna, if you will. It's going to be a little bit of an issue because the original idea for this specific outfit, that one I'm going to show you later, is going to be this photo right up here. The old London bus from a year ago, but this time around they walled that off, so I can't access that. Though I did see some other things that were pretty interesting, so I might try that as well. For this one, I'm going for a red color scheme, which is great because I have a red shirt, so I can color match it with myself, just like this. Though it's not a perfect match, but I get to simulate what it is with red and green and gray and black and see how that works. Anyways, I'm not going to bother you further. I'm just going to show some B-roll of this bus and a little bit around, and let's set up the shot. So here we are with our first shot for today, and honestly, sometimes I really think I should have brought more stuff with me, such as, you know, one more tripod or one more lens or whatever that is. However, recently, as you might have noticed, I am starting to tone down my setup and trying to have a more relaxing time if possible. So I will have to do some compromises, but I do think the photo will still turn out pretty nice. So I'll shoot it along and let you follow along what I'm actually doing. I'm going to try use 35 and do a vertical composition, something around the lines of like this also. So like that. See that? A little bit too bright. Let's turn that down to 4 and take the shot like that with f4.0 so you can see more of the background. And there we are. So the main focus here is actually on the doll, and I hope you can actually see me over there, but you can definitely see me in the Pocket 3. And this is going to be one of those portraiture visiting a place kind of shot. Not exactly very special. What I really wanted to do was use a 50mm if possible, and stand back a little bit like this, and, you know, not trip down the stairs and make myself end up in the hospital. Something around the lines of that, and shoot along with this, but it's not very interesting. A vertical composition with 35 looks a lot more fun and engaging, while 50 or 70 doesn't look quite interesting. I don't know what's the word for it. It's just very dull, and I don't think it's very fun to do. So I might try 35 close up with a horizontal composition like that, and place the doll slightly in the middle. Lean back a little bit. Is the light on top on? Oh, it needs a little bit of power. Let's turn up to 10 and take the shot like that. Let's see how that works. Honestly, not quite as interesting as the vertical one. I'll edit both and keep the horizontal one as a wallpaper, but I'll show the vertical one up screen right now. It's decent. It's not the best photo for sure, but I do think this works enough as a portraiture start of the day shot. Anyways, a little bit about the whole color coordination thing. So as you can see, all of this above here is yellowish and all of this down here is green. So yellow, green, and a little bit of red and black to push everything would look pretty good. That's why I chose this place. So as you can see, the outfit is completely red, then gray, and then black on top. So 3-tone color with 2 tones here, giving that vintage kind of look. And I'm going to slap on some vintage looking color edit filters and see how that works. I'm pretty sure this one is going to turn out nice color wise. However, in terms of how interesting it is, might not exactly be the best. Anyways, that's enough of this outfit. I am going to change this out, likely to the other one, and go to one of the buses I've been to last time. That's a blue and white one, so I will have to match this accordingly to the color. Anyways, I'm gonna pack up, and honestly, I don't really want to pack up everything because I'm just moving quite literally 10 meters that way. So I will see what I can do. Let's move on. Made my way over to another bus, which is a completely blue and white one. The exact same one actually that I came to for the last video. This is one of the more special ones because this is from Hong Kong. One of the very old color schemes that you don't see pretty much anywhere in the world. So blue and white is going to be a pretty good color contrast to, well, also pearlish white and a little bit of black and some very, very dark blues. So I am going to try and shoot along this way, like here or so, but I do have one shot in mind that requires a little bit of risk taking. You know exactly what it's going to be, you know, that. I'm going to have the doll stand here and hold on to this, and maybe I'll think of shooting downwards or just along this way. Maybe the wide angle, maybe with telephoto, I am not quite sure. Let's see what I can do, because the last photo I did at the London bus over there, that one, you can't actually see, it's quite far away, but that one was holding onto one of these handrails and it looked really, really nice. I do want to do that again, however, it is going to be very difficult as, well, this is quite high up and I don't exactly have, you know, my full gear to support exactly what I am doing. Though it's a nice thing that I no longer need to squat down like this on the bus over there. I can just stand up straight, which is, you know, not a luxury for all these things. Anyways, I'm gonna do some B-roll and let's set up the shot. Okay, this shot, if you can't tell, was absolute hell to do. Because for both, I'm an idiot, and it's quite stuffy here, and also all of this is unnecessarily high risk with minimal, well, air quotes, gear. So yeah, this is not exactly the best. I was setting up here just now, and I completely forgot for some reason that the doll's eyes were looking this way, not this way. I composed with this side in mind, and well, it didn't work out quite that well. So I had to redo the entire thing, and you know, looking at this side, shooting at this one, I really wanted a pole, so move back one thing and let's see how that works, because all of this is on this side, while this thing over here, the pole is on the doll's right hand side, so this actually fits. Anyways, let's go over what I'm actually using, and hopefully the Pocket 3 doesn't lose tracking. Very good. So what I wanted to do was use 50 and stand back a little bit and do this. However, that looked a little bit too dull, so I tried 28, I tried 35, and overall 35 seems like the best option here, because I can incorporate this other handrail, this pole right here, and make it look like a framed composition. So this thing and these things at the back, so all the chairs form a line, this forms a line, and all of this becomes a composition for you to look towards the doll. That's what I was going for, but well, I don't know how well it's going to work out, and honestly, with my track record, not exactly the best of all. Anyways, so one light back there and one light over here, one light on top of the camera, a tri-light setup because this is quite dark, and I'd like to use this opportunity to both talk about the outfit and also ISO. So ISO is the thing where you punch in your camera for more light sensitivity, and there is a trend that I'm seeing with doll photographers that they love to lower the ISO by God knows how much, and they would rather make the photo a little bit darker and have the ISO really, really low. Yes, I know this is a premium camera, and yes, I know this is an R5, but I'm using it at 3200 ISO and just running with it. I don't care, because 3200 is really, really good, and it's good enough. I do believe that most modern cameras, even with the cheaper budget ones, you are still going to handle decently at 1600 or anything higher, and it's going to be completely fine. Do not be afraid to push the ISO, do not be afraid to push the exposure a little bit more, because I would rather you get the shot than to have something that's barely usable and rely on the editing. Your camera is more capable than you can ever imagine, and trust me, you can rely on this thing. So I'm using kind of high ISO, 3200, partly because I don't have a tripod and partly because I don't really think too much, so this will work completely fine. I'll rather have a higher shutter speed for things to be stable and the shot to look sharp. Anyways, let's move on to the outfit. So as you can see, a very dark blue dress, black internals, and a white outfit. So all of this doesn't have much blue or much cyan to go with. This entire thing here is cyan. white, and a little bit of blue in the back. So 3 colors mixing together. There is very minimal red and there is some classic colors on this outfit. So this overall works pretty well and blends in. A bad example would be to just move the outfit, what I had just over there, and use it here, because red and black would just completely clash with this blue. Remove the red and maybe it would work, but not exactly the best way you can do it. So I'd rather remove everything and just redo the entire outfit. So this mostly works fine. Anyways, that's enough rambling, and I think I can just, you know, shoot this and shoot the B-roll and just be done with this place, because God, I really need a break. Like, I just want to show you this. It's all wet. This is just, God, it's, oh my God, it's all wet. I need a place to just dry my hair out. Anyways, let's get a photo. And that's it. 35mm, one of my favorite focal lengths, and yeah, I think overall it works completely fine. It's not really as good as the one I got last year, photo up here. This one's really, really good because the color coordination, the framing is perfect. However, last time, yeah, I brought all my gear, and this time around, not exactly a big fan of coming here with a massive backpack just to use half of it, and also have to carry all of that back home like an idiot. Anyways, I'm gonna once again change her out, get some B-roll, get everything done, and move on to the next bus. Alright, I've done my photos and I think it's time for the last shot for today. Behind me, this bus right here, is another old Hong Kong model bus, and this, to anyone in Hong Kong, would be extremely familiar. This is what we call in Hong Kong the hot dog, because, you know, it's red at the top and yellow in the middle, which is like the sausage and the bread, so hot dog. A lot of you might be nostalgic about this thing if you're from Hong Kong, but to me, this, not so much. I just think it looks pretty cool. However, I only can actually shoot inside this thing and not outside because I can't really find a composition. So it's not gonna look as good as I want it to be. Anyways, I'm really tired, so I think it's time for us to get in and do the final shot for today. Alright, here we are for what is likely the last shot for the day. Because I don't have much time left and I actually do want to enjoy a little bit of the museum and walk around without taking any photos. Well, that's a lie because I prepared 3 photos and this is the last outfit, so I'm done for the day. I just need to explain this, do the outro, wrap up, and I can enjoy myself not in these stuffy buses. Anyways, let's quickly go over what I am actually using here. Now, same thing, 2470 at 28mm this time, not 24, that's a bit too wide, not 35, that's a bit too telly. 28 seems to be a pretty good middle ground, and plus, you know how much I love my 28mm, right? The tricky thing about the Sling is the lighting, or the lack thereof, because with the buses just now, you could get some lighting from both sides of the window outside, and for some reason, this doesn't quite get any. Outside here is pretty shadowy, and outside that, yeah, it's pretty bright, but it doesn't quite get to this side, so it's a bit of a hassle. That means I have to use a lot of artificial lighting and pretty much do it by myself. So one light up the camera like this, but sometimes I do feel like it's a bit too close to the doll. I don't like doing that, so I have to hold the camera with one hand and hold the light like this. It's alright, it's not too heavy, and I can pretty much bear with this weight, but, you know, if possible, I would like to hold it with 2 hands, because my fingers do hurt a bit. One light tube over there, that's the other light source for this side of the face, and one big LED right behind me. Now that one's for reflecting all the light, so it's on really, really high output, reflecting all the brown, white ceiling in front, creating a balanced lighting effect. Now these two are to supplement it, so I do think overall the lighting is fine, though the background is a little bit dark, so I do think a lot of editing is required. With that being said, I'm using horizontal, not vertical, because I do like my wallpapers, and plus, ow, god damn. You know what, let's talk about this first. This thing, ceiling, I'm already not very tall, and I'm having trouble standing straight. I was just kneeling basically half the time, and I do feel like my back is gonna hurt tonight, so yeah, not quite fun. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, yes, right. Horizontal, not vertical, because it gives a lot more context to the scene. Vertical just doesn't seem to cut it, and horizontal gives all the brown and red background, contrasting the outfit. Now, this outfit is black and white, because, you know, it's not even thigh highs, it's very, very short socks, so it gives that layered approach to the entire thing. Now, black and white does go with majority of everything. However, in my opinion, black and white goes really, really well with scenes that have very monotone and dark colors. For example, this is red and brown. It's just all the way red and brown, and there's barely any white in the scene. No blacks, no whites, meaning that this provides a very good contrast. It's not in any way special, it's just that it fits the scene and also gets the color tone right. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Anything else? I don't think so. Tripod's there, and AI as well, but this one seems to be the most simple because I just need to circle out that, and we are done. Anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at the shot. And I am bloody done. I think I will just do my B-rolls and try and pack this up as much as possible, so I don't need to lug around this big backpack with 10 million things sticking out while I try and traverse these really, really narrow bus lanes or whatever. Anyways, enough talk. Let's roll the outro. Here we are, done with the video, and it's outro time, and I'd just like to go over some things that I might have missed in today's video, including the whole color thing. Yes, I know I'm a pretty big asshole about color because I like to match the scene with the outfit. That's why you see my photos are always pitch perfect color, because I never really try new things, but that means I'll always secure a shot, which makes my situation a little bit difficult because I like to secure things, but at the same time I also want new stuff, meaning that all of this is going to be increasingly difficult in the future videos because I will be repeating a lot of shots again and again because, you know, I can't exactly travel all over the place with my situation. However, with that being said, I do hope you learned something new from today's video and learned how to color coordinate your outfits a little bit better. Yes, it's not anything difficult, but I do see a lot of people not being able to do a lot of that. We'll take on poses for another video, you know, that's for sometime soon. I might do a dedicated video on that. Let me know in the comments down below if you want that. Let me know, thank you, interaction. But anyways, I might do a separate video on that, but for now, color coordination, and I think I explained it decently. Not the best, because, you know, I can't make the video an hour long and you wouldn't watch it, But I do think overall, good job, hopefully. Anyways, this is likely the very last time I will visit this museum because, it's in Sydney and I don't see any other reason to come here before the end of this year, which I will depart the country and likely never come back. So yeah, it's been great, and it's ironic to see some Hong Kong buses in Sydney. This one specifically, this model, it's long gone before I was even born. I think so. Or maybe it was in its last life cycle when I was born, because this doesn't have any aircon and is old and, basically outdated for its time. Which, perfect metaphor for Hong Kong and Sydney compared. One place keeps the old stuff, the other kind of goes forward, but I do think a lot of people kind of fail to see that. Anyway, I'm getting political, so I'll shut up. So, thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this garbage. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you want to learn more and what you don't want to learn more importantly. Because I do think a lot of these concepts are very important and not a lot of people seem to have a decent grasp of what I am talking about most of the time. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe and all that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Lemon out.